And then we're back with another Game of Thrones video. This time we're going to be doing a recap for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5, titled The Bells. And let's get one thing out of the way. Fuck Daenerys. We can all agree about that. She's got to go. I don't care if it's Arya or it's Jon, but she's got to go. So the last episode, it was directed by Miguel Sapochnik. He's known for his big battle episode, so, expected a big battle. We all expected a big battle to go down. I doubt any of us really expected it to go down the way that it did. Now, what do I mean by that? Spoiler alert if you have not seen the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go see it. I don't know what you're doing on here watching a recap video on an episode you haven't seen before. Let me just put it at that. Spoiler warnings are kind of useless in that situation because you read the title and you know what you're getting into. But yeah, spoiler warning if you have not seen the episode. That being said, let's dive into this. The episode starts off with Varys writing letters to all the northern, all the lords of the realm, stating, Jon Snow is actually the legitimate son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, and he is actually the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. His real name is Aegon Targaryen, blah, blah, blah. Basically, he's spilling the tea to everyone, okay, in the form of, a letter. He's going to send via Raven. That's what he does, because he is convinced that, Daenerys is not going to be a great ruler. She's a great conqueror, but she's not going to be a great ruler. And he even told her straight to her face in the previous episode, but did she listen? No. So, of course, Varys is going to take things into his own hands, as he does whenever there is a bad ruler. He's like, yo, you bad, you gotta go, so I'm going to go find your replacement real quick, and we going to get this shit going. Now, Varys, I think he made the calculated mistake in assuming that Jon Snow wants the throne, but buddy, he doesn't. So there's that. And he straight up tries to poison her. Like, he dead ass tried to poison her. I don't think you understood. Like, here's a clip.
Come in. And? Nothing.
She won't eat.
We'll try again at supper.
I think they're watching me.
Who?
Her soldiers.
Of course they are. That's their job. What have I told you, Martha?
The greater the risk, the greater the reward.
Go on. They'll be missing you in the kitchen.
Yeah. She's working in the kitchen. He tries to poison her, okay? So yeah, it's not pretty. It's not nice. And basically Tyrion, he has no other choice because he's failed her. So like, he has no choice but to tell Daenerys that, hey, Varys is trying to betray you. So, And we also hear that Daenerys hasn't eaten in like 2 days or whatever, so some time has passed by. And when we see her hair is messed up, because it's usually Missandei who's, making the braids, and now that she's gone, whatever. So, yeah, she's looking already Mad Queen-ish, and once I saw the hair, I was like, okay, I see what's going to happen. I already knew what was going to happen, because let's be real. From the first episode of... Not even. From the episode where she lost Viserion to the Night King. that's when, not even before, since last season, all she's been doing is taking L's, okay? And what I mean by that is that she lost the Sand Snakes, so they were gone. She basically lost Dorne for a moment. She lost Yara. She lost half of her fleet to Euron Greyjoy, and then she lost their advantage at Highgarden when basically Jaime Lannister, laid a trap for them, like tricked them. So she kept taking a bunch of L's. Tyrion's plans failed. Let me put one thing. People keep saying that Tyrion has messed up, and no, he hasn't messed up. He's made calculated decisions. The only thing that is the issue is that he got taken by surprise. There was no way for him to know that Cersei had aligned herself with Euron Greyjoy in last season. There was also no way for him to know that Jaime Lannister would have, learned from his mistake and laid a trap for them. So you really can't blame the writers or Tyrion for any of that. He wasn't wrong. He made great calculated decisions that would have worked. All of his plans, if you've paid close attention, they would have worked if it wasn't for something called a plot, okay? Even the plan, especially the plan, well, I'm not sure if it probably wasn't his plan. It was probably the obvious thing. But even the plan for him to, for them to go back to Dragonstone. Okay, so that may have not been his plan, but regardless, that was smart. Like, that's what you would do. That's the normal, natural decision. Of course, by then, Daenerys should have taken into account that Euron's fleet would target the one place that she's gonna go, which is Dragonstone. So she should have expected a trap at Dragonstone when there's an enemy fleet. She should have expected that. So Rhaegal dying, that's on her. She should have listened to Sansa and blah blah blah. But that being said, Tyrion, he really hasn't failed that much. If you think about it, all his plans to save the innocent people, they all would have worked. His plan for the bells, that worked. In the end, his plan worked. They surrendered. The people surrendered. It would have been bloodless. Innocents did not have to die. But then, of course, Daenerys, she finally broke. And, she started barbecuing everybody. So, that's what happened. So, for all y'all people who hating on Tyrion, the writers didn't write Tyrion wrong. I'm going to say this a million times. He made calculated decisions that would have worked if there weren't for all those surprises that they did not foresee. That's it. They just decided to dumb down Tyrion just a little bit to give Cersei an advantage. Because let's be real. If Tyrion's plans had worked without those surprises, they would have taken the Iron Throne a long time ago. They would have taken it a long time ago. Okay? So I'm going to just leave it at that. Now on to the actual episode. So after Daenerys has lost Viserion to the Night King, and then had to fight Viserion and died again, she lost the Sand Snakes. She lost Olenna Tyrell. Those were all of her advisors. They didn't really mean that much. But then in the last episode, 2 episodes ago, episode 3, which was The Long Night, she lost Jorah, her best friend. She lost half of her Dothraki. She lost half of her Unsullied. Her boyfriend's family does not like her. So, that's already emotional stress and pettiness right there. Then she loses Missandei, and she loses Rhaegal. And then you have Cersei like, bitch, I ain't leaving this shit. This is my city. I'm running shit. So, of course, after all of those losses and after all the stuff that went down, it's understandable to be like that she's tired. She is tired. She's fed up with all the L's she's taking. She's fed up with all the things that she's lost. And then the straw that broke she expected betrayal. Like, let's be real. She expected betrayal. So the betrayal to her, I don't think that really affected her as much. Like, it did piss her off naturally because you're like, wow, okay, you guys really did betray me. Like, fuck you guys. But I don't think it wasn't really that big of a deal to her. But I think the straw that broke the camel's back was when Jon basically rejected her. It's like, okay, like, you know, you're my aunt, and I can understand Jon's point. Like, you know, that's your aunt. Like, yeah, I don't know. But then the nigga in me is kind of like, yo, pussy is pussy. So I'm like, just take him from the team. Like, everyone's kind of like hating on Jon, but like, hey, at the end of the day, that's his aunt. Okay, like, it may be okay for the Targaryens, but Jon Snow grew up with regular people. We're not really okay with that incest stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's really what's blocking Jon, you know, from actually... He does love her. Like, he does have feelings for her. He is in love with her. Those feelings don't go away right away. Trust me. Anyone who's been through, like, breakup, they know that those feelings don't go right away. So... Oh, much better. So those feelings are not gone. But let's be real. The incest stuff is really kind of blocking it. And even Varys pointed it out. She's his aunt. So it's kind of weird. And so, yeah. I feel like that was the one thing, okay. Basically a betrayal in a certain way. Daenerys is like, fine. Fine. Okay. Nobody loves me? Fine. Even though, you know, he's professed and he's bent the knee like a million times, you know. So, yeah. So, all that was going to affect Daenerys. Then she finally takes over, and the bells start ringing. And I don't know if this is part of it. This is only my own assumption, but having all those loud bells in your ears is kind of disorienting. I'm just gonna say that. So if someone's prone to madness and you have all these loud ass bells ringing in their head, I'm pretty sure it's gonna affect them in some kind of way. That's just my observation. But then she looks at the Red Keep, and I don't think she could see Cersei, but like. Actually, she probably could have seen Cersei. We don't know. Point is, she sees that that's the place that she finally is reached. She has finally reached her goal that she's been needing to reach since season 1. And that in the show, that's about between 5 and 10 years, more or less, just around that time. So, all those years she spent with the Iron Throne as her goal, and she's finally there. And I feel like all of the trauma and all of the heartbreak, betrayal, all those negative emotions that happened to her along the way of getting to the Iron Throne, they all just came rushing back to her, and she broke, snapped, lost it, and the Targaryen madness that she has been fighting against finally just took over. Because keep in mind, her advisors and the people around her, Jorah especially, Jorah and Missandei, those were the people who kept her Targaryen madness in check. Now those people are all gone. So what is she gonna do? Of course she's gonna go crazy. Of course she's gonna burn everything. So plot wise, character development wise, it makes sense because she was always on crutches, and once those crutches were gone, she's just a broken Targaryen that she was, and she snapped, burned everything. Did I see it coming? Of course I saw it coming. Did I expect it to go down the way it did? Not really. I expected to watch her burn the city. Honestly, I did, but I didn't expect it to happen after everyone had surrendered. That's the one part that I can't forgive Daenerys for. I can understand where she's coming from, yes, but I don't know. Now, moving on from Daenerys and the sacking of King's Landing Part 2, which is funny because that's what happened when her family was taking. That's what happened when Cersei's family was taking over when her family was in power. So, you know, mirrors and parallels. I feel like the show really loves doing that. Moving from that, Clegane Bowl, bruh. Yo, Clegane Bowl was fucking fire, okay? Also, I want to know what Qyburn was pumping into the mountain, because that nigga would not die. Got stabbed in the chest, didn't die. Got stabbed a bunch of times, didn't die. got stabbed in the eye straight through the brain. Did not die. I fell for the Hound. I'm like, yo, nigga died. And yeah, the way that the Hound went out, very expected. He always had a connection with fire. It would have made it, obviously, like, if you see all the things that he's done with fire, this and fire that, like, you kind of see that Clegane Bowl would have to end with fire, especially like the way that zombies work in Game of Thrones. They need to be destroyed with fire. Like, basically all of their body parts need to be gone. So that makes sense. That the way that the zombies work, you have to burn them, so it makes sense that it wouldn't be different for the Mountain, who is basically a zombie. So there's that. And yeah, Clegane Bowl was awesome. The fight between Jaime and Euron, that was very unnecessary, but pretty cool. Now, here's another thing that people complain about. Oh, how the hell did Euron Greyjoy get there at the same time as Kingslayer, blah, blah, blah. And here's what I gotta explain. Don't get me wrong, it is very convenient and very weird that they got there at the exact same time. But at the end of the day, you gotta remember that Jaime didn't go straight there. He walked around the city, so he took a good minute to get there. Okay? And we saw Euron Greyjoy running away. So he made it off the boat and he swam to shore. Now, if you look at the geography of King's Landing, you would have seen perfectly fine. You would have seen that even when Tyrion was hatching his plan, they were saying, oh, do you want, like, you expect them to sail between the Iron Fleet? Meaning that where they were was like at the part of the castle area, which was near where the Iron Fleet was. Meaning if they try to sail out, the Iron Fleet would have seen them. So if the Iron Fleet would have seen them, that means they were within range of the Iron Fleet. So Euron Greyjoy, it's not, crazy to assume that, hey, he swam to the nearest shore that he could have found, and it was right there. Because that's the closest area to the Iron Fleet. Like, that makes sense. Like, I don't understand how you guys don't understand that. It makes sense. Now, is it super convenient that they both arrived at the same time? Yes. Swimming doesn't happen right away. Also, he could have been disoriented. He could have been, like, in the water for a good minute. So, all those things inside, I can let it pass. Like, I can understand, like, it took time for both of them to get there. So they didn't happen to get there, they didn't go straight there. Well, Euron probably did, but they didn't go straight there and, whatever. So it makes sense that they both got there at, similar times. Now, that being said, let's move on and talk about Arya. I am pretty sure that she's got so much plot armor right now, and I don't care. Because Arya is everyone's favorite character at this point. Like, yo, Arya, please kill Daenerys. Like, I'm sorry. Just kill her, please. Please. Sansa, Sansa's up there chilling, bro. Sansa's up in the north, like, sipping her tea, like, I told you. That kind of stuff. Oh, that was good, actually. But yeah, Sansa's chilling. Arya, please kill her. I like the little thing with the white horse, but yo, seeing the destruction of King's Landing through Arya's perspective, first off, that cinematography was on point. Okay, those effects were on point. The cinematography, if you stopped any of those aerial shots, if you pause the video and screenshot, that's a movie poster right there. Like, that was legit awesome. So there's that. And yeah, that being said, Arya is definitely gonna kill Daenerys. She better. If she doesn't, I'm gonna be upset, honestly. Cersei, I'm actually kind of happy with the way that they ended it, because I didn't expect Cersei to survive. No one expected Cersei to survive. So as soon as Jaime and Cersei got down, I'm like, this is too easy. Like, nah, this is not gonna happen. And then boom, okay. I was like, okay, they're gonna die. But when she starts saying that she doesn't want their baby to die, in that moment, you gotta love the acting that Lena Headey does. You gotta admire her talent for her ability, her craft is amazing. Like the way she acted that scene out, you really felt sorry for her. Like in that split moment, you're like, dang, I don't actually want her to die. Like I was like, yo, I don't want Cersei to die. Like part of me was like, yo, can she not die? Is there the option like she doesn't have to die? And then of course we do see Jaime and Cersei die. Now people are upset that Jaime didn't go to kill her, and I can understand why people are upset. And honestly, the way that the show does it is also understandable because in the books, Jaime had split from Cersei a long time ago. So it didn't really make sense to me that, okay, in the span of like a few episodes, Jaime's gonna suddenly turn a complete 180 and hate her so much that he goes to kill her. Like, that kind of thing didn't really make much sense. So I did kind of understand. Like, the way that the show does it, it makes sense. Like, if you are a show-only watcher and you don't read the source material, you're not invested into the books, I feel like it's an easier pill to swallow. Because you'll be like, oh, okay, you understand. Because there are situations like that in certain relationships where, hey, that's a toxic person, but like I said before, those feelings don't go away as easy. So, of course, he would go back to her. Of course, he's like addicted to her. Like, he finally got a taste of how it is without Cersei, and he feels guilty for basically cheating on her in that kind of sense. And of course, he would go back to her. So, people who are, canon policing this, they're being really kind of too hard on, and they expect too much from the show. The show is for show only watchers at this point. At the beginning, it was for if you read the books, you'd be like, I get that. Oh, I understand that reference. This, that. But if you're a show only watcher, then I feel like that storyline would have made more sense to you. That's my opinion. I have read all the books, read all the source materials. I have a bunch of theories on how it is going to end in the books at this point. On the show, most of those theories have effectively gone away. Some of my theories came true. I did predict I didn't predict it on video, but I did assume that, I did believe that Jaime would be the one to kill Cersei, and technically he kind of did. Not directly, but indirectly caused her death. So technically he did kill her, which did, it did work with my theory. So, I'm happy that it kind of went out like that. I mean, I'm happy that my prediction came true. I'm kind of sad. The way that the episode went down, seeing the way that they died, it made me feel some type of way, to be honest. Like, I was like, I don't know if I don't know if I'm happy to see Cersei die. Because, like, on one hand, it's Cersei, so, she's got to go. But, like I said, in that split scene, you really feel sorry for her. And you got to admire. You cannot tell me that Lena Headey does not deserve an Oscar for that performance. She turned a most hated character. Dude, literally in the last episode, everyone's like, fuck Cersei. She just killed Missandei, blah, 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 blah. Everyone hates her for that. And then you feel sorry for her dying? You feel bad that she's about to die? Like, that's a complete 180 in the span of, like, an hour. Like, it's crazy. It's really, like, crazy and amazing. Her talent is phenomenal. And nothing but high praise for the actress. The character, however, made some questionable decisions. Very questionable decisions. And I'll admit, she is, not the best person. But at the end, Cersei was always one of my favorite characters. Not that she's a good person, but she's one of my favorite characters in how her character arc went. How her determination and all that good shit. Like, that kind of stuff. So yeah. I think that's all for the episode. Nothing much went on. I'm not even gonna get into Jon Snow because Jon Snow, you fucked up, my guy. Like, that's it. Jon Snow, you fucked up. The Golden Company, that was trash. They hyped up they didn't. Actually, they didn't hype up the Golden Company, which was, good. They didn't hype it up. I feel like the Golden Company, they honestly just needed some more muscle, and they're like, hey, who can we hire? And like, oh, in the books it said the Golden Company. Boom. Let's merge that. So I feel like that's what it was. We're not going to even talk about the books because the books is obviously going to be more in-depth. There are certain characters that are alive in the books that are dead on the show, and vice versa. So of course the book ending is going to be different. I assume that after the season, that's when we're finally going to get Winds of Winter to be released. I assume. I was talking to one of my friends, and she was like, oh, I think that George R.R. Martin was just waiting for the show to end, like, to see if it would be trash or whatever. And, like, that's not the reason why. I think that he just wanted it to end so, like, people wouldn't compare the show and the book too much while the show is still going on, and that way the ratings would go down. Because if he finished his book, Winds of Winter, and the show, which is obviously most likely will be very different from how it is in the books, people will start watching the season and be like, nah, fuck this. They would immediately just be over. They'll be over it. They'll probably stop watching it. So it was a kind of smarter idea for him to wait till the show is over. I've always had that thought. Like, I always assumed that he'd, finish. Like, the show would finish before he releases the books. That's always what I thought. And came true. Am I upset? Very. Does it make sense? Yes. So there's that. What else? Tyrion, him walking. Tyrion and Varys in this episode were very, very interesting. Like, the scene between Varys and Tyrion at the beginning, where Tyrion's like, hey, it was me. And then Varys is like, I hope that I'm wrong. Like, honestly, I really do. He's basically saying, I hope that my death is not in vain, and I hope that I am wrong about this. And of course, we see that he was not wrong. He was 100% correct. So, R.I.P. my nigga Varys. R.I.P. my nigga Tyrion, because he is going to die most likely. Because I don't see how he's going to make it out. Like, Cersei's already, Daenerys is already gone crazy. And once she finds out who, I feel like Tyrion just did. Tyrion, just go. Just you better sneak out, head north. Like, that's the safest place for you right now. Just head north. Like, get on your horse, ride as fast as you can up north. Do what you gotta do to get up north, because that's the only safe place for you there. And even then, Daenerys got a dragon, so I don't know. If she puts a hit on you, you dead. I don't know what to tell you. So, potential RIP for Tyrion. The scene between Tyrion and Jaime, that was like, don't cry. So yeah, that was, sad and beautiful. You really felt like it was a last goodbye for some of these characters, and it really was. Like, it felt like they knew that they would never see each other again, and that's really sad. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the recap/review of episode 5. The final episode is tomorrow night, Sunday, May 19th. It's going to make me feel some type of way. Can't wait. It's going to be another hour and 30 minutes long. I'm scared. Anyway, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought. If you enjoyed my review, recap, reaction, whatever, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you did not, that's fine. You hit the like button, subscribe, and share anyways. And be sure to hit the notification bell down below to get notified when I post new videos. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget the End Times Podcast. We got a new Instagram. Links will be in the description box for that. The End Times. We got a new YouTube channel for the End Times Podcast. That's where I'm gonna be putting all my vlogs, blah blah. Those will all be under the End Times Podcast YouTube channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Winter's coming. Boom!
Niggas be bugging. Nickname is Downer cause these niggas decking. stacking. Got 14 days, my nigga, a fortnight. Guns that you blasting only on Fortnite. Chopper gon' grind you niggas like port runs. Ho call me Batman, nigga, the Dark Knight.